Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. In today's video, I have two friends stopping by to give us a hand. We're going to be talking to my friend, FHA loan, howdy, and my other friend, conventional loan, meowdy. First, we're going to clear up some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about them, and then I'm going to let them explain a little bit about themselves so that by the end of this video, you know which type of loan is the best one for you to use. And if this is your first time on my channel, my goal is to teach the average person that it's possible to reach financial independence and make work completely optional in less than 10 years, even if you're not starting from the best position. If that's something that you think you would like to know, in the comments below, let me know how many years you think it will take you to reach financial independence. Or if you're already there, let me know how long ago that was. Let's start with FHA. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about you?
Thanks, Dion. I would have to say the thing about me that seems to confuse the most people is my name. Dion, you and I were talking before we hit record today, and you said that when you were talking to people and you asked them what FHA stood for, that 3 people in a row said, first-time homebuyers something. And I get how it's confusing. It sounds like an acronym.
Right. Your name is from the Federal Housing Authority, right?
Kind of. But actually, my name comes from a program that was developed by the Federal Housing Administration, and over time, I just became called FHA for short.
Right. I did have 3 people call you first-time home buyer something or other.
The idea was the goal is to get more people into home ownership because there are some barriers like credit score, down payment, and debt-to-income ratio that were stopping a lot of people from becoming homeowners.
That makes sense. Right. The data shows that nearing retirement, homeowners had a net worth on average of around $200,000. But people who had rented most of their lives had a net worth of around $5,000.
And conventional? What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about you?
Thank you, Dion. I would have to say that the biggest misconception about me is that people think you need to put 20% down to use a conventional loan. And believe me, I've been used for a lot less than 20%. If you're going to live on the property and you're a first-time home buyer, you can put down as little as 3%. If you're not a first-time home buyer, it can be as low as 5%. And even if it's an investment property and you're not going to live on the property, there are some lenders who will take less than 20% down for an investment property. It is a little harder when, things like a pandemic happens and lender fears go through the roof, but it's still possible.
Exactly. We both work for first-time home buyers or not first-time home buyers. And with a first-time home buyer, conventional's down payment can actually be lower than mine at that 3%. For an FHA loan, you can do as low as 3.5%. It's possible to do more, but...
Okay, so a first-time home buyer can use a conventional loan. What actually makes a person a first-time home buyer? Does that mean that they've never owned a house? No, that's actually another misconception. First-time home buyer means that you haven't owned a house for the last 3 years. Okay, so people can use either FHA or conventional, and if they intend to live on the property with conventional, if they're a first-time home buyer, they can do 3% down. If they're not a first-time home buyer, with FHA, they can do 3.5% down, and with conventional, they can do 5% down. And FHA, you said that you were intended for people with maybe a lower credit score. What are the kind of common credit scores that are required?
Well, for me, people can have a score in the 500s, but the higher the score, the better the interest rate.
Right. And for me, usually lenders are going to want you to have a 620 or higher credit score, but just like FHA, the higher the credit score, the better the interest rate.
Okay, I'm following you both. What about debt-to-income ratios? Sure. Yeah, but why don't you explain what debt-to-income ratio is, just in case somebody doesn't know what that is?
Okay, sure. Basically, it is the ratio between your recurring monthly debts and your gross income before taxes. They don't usually count things like utilities or groceries, but they'll take things like car payment, rent or house payment, child support, alimony, those things that consistently happen every month. You add all of your bills up together and you divide that by your gross income before taxes, and the ratio that you get gives you your debt to income ratio. This ratio is shown in the form of a percentage. The lower the percentage, the less risky you are to lenders.
Okay, yeah, and for FHA, debt to income ratio can be all the way up to 50%.
And with conventional, up to 43% is the limit for debt to income.
Okay, so FHA is 500 plus credit and conventional is 620 plus credit usually, and the better the score, the better the interest rates you're going to get.
And FHA will do up to 50% debt to income ratio, and conventional is 43% or better debt to income ratio. Hey, FHA, if the goal is to get more people into home ownership, which is expensive and can have things like, needing to replace a roof, or a hot water heater can break, or you might need foundation repair, and you're lowering the barriers to getting into home ownership, don't you think that's possibly setting some people up for failure? I mean, so many that we might not want to call them all foreclosures so that people know how many FHA loans fail. We can call them something like HUD homes. And then that doesn't sound so bad.
Unclear.
Fair enough. Okay, now let's talk loan limits. How much can people borrow using you?
That really depends on which county you live in.
Right. And with conventional, the limit's usually a bit higher than you can with FHA.
That's true. But FHA and conventional can both be used on up to 4 units. Each unit that you add raises the amount that you can borrow.
I see we're not giving exact numbers, which is good because those numbers change all the time. So I think that at the time a person is getting a loan, that's when they need to check with their lender for what those limits are. If somebody doesn't put 20% down on a mortgage, they need mortgage insurance. What can you tell me about that? Primary mortgage insurance.
Primary
Mortgage insurance premium. Both names mean the same thing.
For me, it means a charge of 1.75% of the loan due at closing, or that can be rolled into the actual loan, and a monthly rate that's based on your credit score. But this primary mortgage insurance never goes away. It exists for the entire length of the loan. The only way to get rid of it is to pay off the loan or to refinance out of an FHA loan.
And for me, if you get a conventional loan that is above 20% down, you don't need mortgage insurance. If you put 20% or less down, you're going to get mortgage insurance that's based on your credit score. And as soon as your equity gets to 22%, the mortgage insurance goes away because every month there is some appreciation and some principal paydown happening. But even though lenders say it automatically happens at 22%, I would still reach out to them at about the same time and make sure they know that you're about to be eligible for that mortgage insurance to go away.
Hey guys. Hi Dion. Hey Dion, the other day I was talking to FHA and he said you were recording this today, so I thought I'd swing in and just, kind of remind you that FHA and conventional loans are generally meant for single family houses or small multifamily. But for 5 units or more, you pretty much have to go with a commercial loan or seller financing or all cash. Hey multifamily, thanks for stopping by. That is some good information. Thanks for adding that to the video. For those that don't know, multifamily is my friend. We did this video comparing single family house to multifamily apartment complexes, and I let them talk about their pros, their cons, and I pointed out what my solution was. But if I remember right, in that video you seemed kind of camera shy and a little hesitant.
But not today.
Today, you seem to have a really good presence on camera. Yes. Well, no, thanks. When you had me on the channel the other day, I really liked the experience. So I did a little research and I found out you can actually make money making videos. So I figured I'd get me one of them fans only accounts. Yeah. I figured I'd just make the account, get some maps like you do, maybe different ones, and people would pay me to, keep my clothes on. That's actually brilliant. I'll tell you, you know what? I've got some money. If I give you this money, will you do that? Will you keep your clothes on? It's working already. Another stream of income. That's disturbing. But now, with this information, hopefully you're understanding that it is your situation that dictates whether you should use an FHA loan or a conventional loan. If you can handle the cost of home ownership, if you're ready for the roof to need replaced, hot water heater to break, or some foundation issues to pop up, and you're sure you can handle those expenses and you're going to buy a house, but your credit score is not so great and your debt to income is not so great, and maybe you plan on refinancing in 2 to 5 years, FHA is a good choice. If your credit's good and you have a better debt to income, conventional sounds like the way to go, especially with what happens to that mortgage insurance. For my first investment property, I purchased this duplex.
I used a 5% down conventional loan. This was my first house hack, and when I did this, this helped me increase my savings rate so much that after that, I've always been able to use a 20 or 25% down conventional loan so that I don't have mortgage insurance. I've had my VA loan available, but I didn't use it because I wanted to have it available just in case I didn't have any money at all and the perfect deal popped up. And back in the dinosaur days, the VA loan used to have a limit on how much you can use it for. But recently that's changed. So talk to your lender about whether it's a good idea to use a VA loan or not. As a thank you for making it this far in the video, I'm going to include another tip. If you're going to use a VA, FHA, or conventional loan, sometimes you want to look at the type of market that you're in. If you're in a buyer's market, you can usually use any kind of lending you want and sellers won't care. But in 2021, we're pretty much seeing sellers markets all the way across the country. VA loans and FHA loans have a few more hoops to jump through, and they look less attractive to a seller. So in a seller's market, it may be in your best interest to try going with a conventional loan, or all cash, if all cash is an option for you. Some people are going with an all cash offer, acquiring the property, and then doing a cash out refinance. I really hope I made it worth your time clicking on this video today. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion's Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.